Geoff Ward has been relieved of his duties as head coach of the Calgary Flames, and an old familiar face in Darryl Sutter makes his return. We'll discuss the move coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. Now, as I mentioned, we had some surprising news last night, or somewhat surprising given the fact that the Flames actually won last night. Of course, where I'm located, the news came extremely late, around 2 o'clock in the morning by the time everything was announced and posted here. But the Flames did decide to move on from head coach Geoff Ward. Certainly somebody who I think is fair to say has been under a fair bit of pressure, been on the hot seat as of late. The Flames are certainly a team that's been underperforming this year, and I know many felt that maybe he might have lost the room and just wasn't really the guy to be in charge back there to get this team going in the right direction. Of course, he took over, due to the controversy last year with Bill Peters, and initially had a good run, but obviously things have fallen off here. They didn't have a good showing in the playoffs, and then again, not a great start here. This team has been, a team that the ownership group and management have felt have the tools to do much more and be much more successful than it's been in recent years, and something had to give here. So Geoff Ward is replaced by former coach and GM, and of course, longtime NHL player and coach Darryl Sutter makes his, what he hopes to be a triumphant return to Cowtown. Now, obviously, the Flames had a long run with Sutter before. He was the head coach as well as general manager for, I believe it was about an 8-year span that he worked with the Calgary Flames back in the early 2000s. I think it was around 2002 to 2010, if I'm accurate there on my dates. Like I said, he had a fair bit of success, ended up leaving after an 8-year stint. Went on to win a couple of Stanley Cups with the Los Angeles Kings. Of course, Sutter's had an extremely long career, played for a long time, coached for a long time. Back a few years ago, I think it was about 3 years ago, he actually announced his retirement from coaching as well. So it's somewhat of a surprise that he's come back, but obviously due to the fact of where he lives in Alberta, they don't have to worry about any kind of quarantine or isolation issues and bringing him in to the mix here. And I would think it's also fair to say that Brad Treliving and the Calgary Flames had already made this decision before last night's game. I'm going to say that at the very least it was made after their 5-1 loss to the Senators when they last played a number of days ago. Obviously they had a few days off in between. The Senators then had to go on a road trip, play Montreal, and then flew out to Calgary, where they ultimately lost to the Flames last night. But still, I think by that point it was too little too late. Darryl Sutter certainly has a reputation for being tough to play for. He's going to be a very demanding coach. He's going to push them quite hard, and I would not be completely shocking as well, like I said before, if we continue to see some rumors about there being personnel changes within the Flames roster as well. I know it's been reported that the Flames are looking for a top 6 forward, preferably a right shot right winger, not somebody who can just play their off wing, but a right shooting winger as well. They would prefer to have Elias Lindholm be the number 2 center, and instead of having to bulk up on that top line with him and Gaudreau and Monahan, and they feel like they're a better balanced team in that regard, doing that, which I do tend to agree with. They've tried other forwards there, like Simon, like Mangiapane, and they just don't feel like it's a great fit, and hasn't really been anything that's worked out for any kind of stretch of time. So obviously that's what they're looking to do. Not going to be an easy thing to find. Obviously there is a fair bit of decent wingers out there on the market though, so it'll be interesting to see how Treliving and the Flames proceed here. But the tenure of Geoff Ward as head coach in the Calgary Flames comes to an end. Obviously it wasn't a very long-lived one. He got to finish out last season and then a little bit of the playoffs, and then this year about not quite to the halfway point of the NHL season. So short-lived. I mean, Ward's been around a fair bit of time. Hard to say if he'll get another NHL opportunity, but it is what it is. Darryl Sutter's the guy. It's not somebody I would have selected as being the next coach, given the fact I know that Ward was under a lot of pressure. There's a lot of other big-name coaches out there as well, but I wonder how they've went about making their decision. But now Sutter's not only just taking over internally or for the rest of this year, he's also signed a contract, which is for 2 additional seasons. So he's going to take over now and have 2 more seasons under his belt here. So Sutter will be around for an extended period of time. I know last time when he was with the Calgary Flames organization, he ended up bringing in a lot of his family members in different capacities as well. I believe before he ended up leaving as GM, he had hired his brother Brent to be the coach, and within, I think, about a year after that, he ended up resigning and moving on. But we'll see how he makes additional changes to the coaching staff or to any other personnel around him. So we'll stay tuned to see how the Flames do with the new coaching change in place. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments and we'll discuss further. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and turning on your notifications so you don't miss any future content. And give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I'd appreciate it if you did. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.